It was a chilly evening when Ethan nervously checked his watch for the 10th time. The neon lights outside the small diner flickered, casting a soft glow on the old glass windows that had seen countless stories unfold. This wasn't the fancy restaurant people usually picked for a first date. It wasn't the kind of place with candle-lit tables or waiters in suits. It was a simple corner diner, cheap coffee, greasy fries, and a jukebox that still played old love songs from the 80s. But for Ethan, this place meant something. It was where his late father used to bring his mother, when they had nothing but love to share. It was where he learned that true connection wasn't about price tags. It was about presence. Still, as he waited for Lily, the girl he had been talking to for months online, his confidence wavered. She came from a well-off family, someone used to city lights and designer handbags. He had almost cancelled the date twice, but something in him whispered that honesty was better than pretense. Then the doorbell jingled, and there she was, wearing a soft blue dress, her hair gently tucked behind one ear, her smile warm but curious. "This is cute," she said, glancing around the humble diner, her tone a mix of surprise and uncertainty. Ethan stood, his hands slightly trembling, pulling out a chair for her. "I know it's not fancy," he said quietly, "but this place has stories." Lily smiled politely and sat down, trying to hide the flicker of disappointment that crossed her face. Around them, an old couple shared a milkshake. Two kids laughed at a booth near the window, and the smell of grilled cheese filled the air. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Ethan broke the silence. "My dad used to bring my mom here every Friday. They couldn't afford much, but he always said the love in this place was richer than any five-star restaurant." Lily looked at him differently, now her expression softening. "That's actually really sweet," she said. The waitress, a cheerful woman in her 50s named Marla, came over with a smile that could light up the room. "What can I get for you two lovebirds?" she teased. Lily blushed. "We're not," she began, but Ethan just chuckled and said, "2 coffees, please. And maybe your famous pancakes." Marla winked. "Coming right up." As they talked, Ethan found himself forgetting his nerves. He told her about his job at a small repair shop, his dream to start a business of his own, and the nights he spent fixing old radios just to hear the static turn into music. Lily listened, truly listened, her phone untouched on the table, a rare thing these days. She told him about her art, her love for sketching faces she saw in crowds, and how she sometimes felt like no one really saw her beyond her family's wealth. The diner's noise faded into a comfortable hum, and laughter came easy between them. Ethan noticed the way Lily's eyes sparkled when she talked about her art. Lily noticed the sincerity in Ethan's voice when he spoke about his parents. Time slipped away unnoticed. When the pancakes arrived, Ethan insisted they share them. "They taste better that way," he said. Lily laughed and agreed, and soon both were eating from the same plate, something that felt surprisingly intimate. Then came the moment that changed everything. A little girl from a nearby table suddenly dropped her doll, and it rolled beneath their booth. Ethan bent down to retrieve it, and when he handed it back, the girl's mother smiled gratefully. "Thank you," she said softly. "This diner has kind souls." Lily watched as Ethan smiled back at the woman, his gesture so natural, so pure, that she felt a lump in her throat. He wasn't pretending to impress her, he was just himself. When the bill came, Ethan reached for it, but Lily stopped him. "Let's split it," she said. "No," he insisted. "I invited you." She hesitated, then smiled. "Fine, but next time it's on me." "Next time?" he echoed, his heart lifting. She nodded. "Next time," as they stepped outside. The city lights seemed a little brighter, and the cold night air felt warm with possibility. They stood under the flickering diner sign, silence stretching between them in the sweetest way. "Thank you for not taking me somewhere fancy," Lily said suddenly. "This felt real." Ethan smiled, eyes gentle. "That's all I wanted." Before they parted, Lily reached up and gave him a small kiss on the cheek, something simple yet powerful enough to send his heart racing. As she walked away, he stayed standing there, watching her until she disappeared into the streetlights. Marla stepped outside, wiping her hands on her apron. "She's a keeper," she said knowingly. Ethan laughed softly. "I hope so." Little did he know, that simple dinner would set off a chain of events that would soon make headlines. Not because of where he took her, but because of what she would do next. The next morning, Ethan woke up still smiling, replaying every moment from the night before. The way Lily laughed at his terrible jokes, the warmth in her eyes when she spoke, and that gentle kiss on his cheek that lingered like sunlight in his memory. He didn't know what would come next, but for the first time in years, he felt hope. He texted her a simple "good morning" and waited, his heart pounding faster with every passing minute. But hours went by, no reply. He tried to distract himself at work, fixing radios, tightening screws, pretending not to care, but his mind was elsewhere. By sunset, he'd almost convinced himself she wasn't interested after all. Then his phone buzzed. It was Lily. "Meet me at the diner tonight, 8 p.m. That single message made his heart race again. He arrived early just like last time. The same neon light flickered above the door. The same smell of fresh coffee filled the air. But this time something felt different. Marla gave him a knowing smile as she poured him a cup. "Round two, huh?" she teased. He laughed nervously. "I guess so." Then the doorbell rang, and there she was again. But tonight, Lily looked different. Gone was the polished city girl aura. She wore a simple hoodie, her hair tied back, no makeup, just her. When she sat down, she looked at him seriously, her eyes searching his. "Ethan," she began softly, "do you know why I asked you here again?" He shook his head, unsure. "Because," she said, "I needed to know if last night was real, if what I felt wasn't just something in my head." Ethan smiled, his voice steady. "It was real to me." Lily looked down at her hands. "I went home last night and my mom asked where I'd been. When I told her, she was furious. She said a diner boy wasn't right for me. She even showed me pictures of men she thought I should date. Rich, successful, perfect on paper." Her eyes welled up. "But I couldn't stop thinking about how I felt here, how happy I was." Ethan felt his chest tighten. "Lily, you don't owe me anything. I just wanted you to be yourself." She looked up, tears glistening. "That's the thing, Ethan. You're the only one who's ever made me feel like I can." For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The diner buzzed softly in the background, the old jukebox humming a tune about second chances. Then Lily took a deep breath. "I did something today," she said. "Something crazy." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "What did you do?" She hesitated, then slid a small envelope across the table. "Open it," she whispered. Inside was a check, a donation slip to a local children's home, signed with Lily's name and a note that said, "For kids who just need someone to believe in them." Ethan looked confused. "Lily, what's this?" She smiled through her tears. "That place, it's where my father grew up. I never even knew until yesterday when I asked him about your story. He told me he used to come to this very diner as a kid. That's why it felt so familiar to me. When I told him about you, about how genuine you were, he broke down. He said he'd lost touch with who he used to be." Ethan's heart raced. "So this diner, it's where my parents first met," she said softly. "Just like yours." Ethan froze, the revelation hitting him like a wave. The same diner that had been his parents' place of love was also where Lily's parents' story began. It wasn't just a coincidence, it was destiny. "That's why it felt so right," Lily whispered. "We were meant to find each other here." She reached for his hand, her fingers trembling. "Ethan, I don't care what anyone thinks. I don't care about money, status, or fancy restaurants. I just want real. I want you." Ethan's eyes burned as he squeezed her hand. "Then that's all I'll ever give. You, real." Marla watched from behind the counter, her eyes misty. "You two remind me of a story I once knew," she said softly. Two couples, years apart, finding love in the same place. Maybe that's the diner's secret. It only brings together hearts that truly belong, the night passed with laughter, tears, and the feeling that something far greater than chance had brought them together. But the shock wasn't over yet. A few weeks later, Lily posted a heartfelt video on social media titled, "He took me to a cheap diner for our first date and it changed everything." In the video, she told their story, not with glamour or filters, but with honesty. She talked about how love isn't about where you go, but who you're with. How sometimes the humblest places hold the greatest memories. Within days, the video went viral. Millions watched, thousands commented. People shared their own stories of love found in unexpected places. News outlets picked it up, calling it the diner love story that melted the internet. Ethan's small repair shop got flooded with messages. People wanting to meet the diner boy who reminded the world what love truly means. But for him, none of the fame mattered. What mattered was the quiet moments, sharing coffee with Lily, watching the sunrise together, planning a future built not on wealth, but on sincerity. Months later, Ethan walked Lily back into that same diner, now bustling with visitors who'd come to see where it all began. Marla hugged them both. "Guess this place really does make miracles," she said, grinning. Ethan knelt down, pulling a small ring from his pocket. "Lily," he said, his voice shaking, "this place gave me you. Will you make it our forever spot?" Tears streamed down her face as she nodded. "Yes," she whispered. The entire diner erupted in applause. Even strangers cheered, wiping away tears. Cameras clicked. But for Ethan and Lily, the world faded away. It was just them, and the diner that started it all. And as they shared their first kiss as an engaged couple, the neon light above flickered once again, brighter than ever, as if blessing their love story. And so the boy who took a girl to a cheap diner for their first date ended up proving that love doesn't need chandeliers or champagne. It needs heart, honesty, and a place that feels like home. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and share it with someone who still believes in real love. Because sometimes the simplest stories are the ones that remind us what truly matters.